They divided work among the groups. Groups for killing people is there, group for beating people is there, group for burning houses is there, and other groups for abducting children also is there.
Michael Aniwar was just 13 when the rebels took him. I was abducted with my brother, and they told me I had to kill my brother and other people. If I didn't, I would be killed. What can I say about the rebels and the bitterness I have with them forcing me to kill my own brother? Really, this pains me a lot, and I feel I have no hope for the future.
Not everybody in the community has already forgiven them, the rebels. The others who are still very bitter with the rebels, even those who have already returned back into the community, there are other community members who are still bitter with them because they see that now my child is not back, and for you, you are back at home. My child died from captivity, and now for you, you are still back at home. So they still find it really very hard to forgive.
You know, this issue of amnesty is not a simple thing. Our fellow Madis are still there in the bush. Actually, are still there in the bush. So if you say they have to be forgiven, once a Madi hears that a rebel Madi is captured from bush and brought to home and be given some kind of trial or amnesty, all Madis will say, yeah, he has to be forgiven. He was not all that involved. He was abducted. And fellow Acholis will also say, Acholis have to be forgiven. That's not justice.
Transitional justice in Uganda has a bright future because the most important stakeholders who are the community are willing to participate in the process. Secondly, we also have government commitment through the initiative of the government. Under the justice law and order sector, a transitional justice program exists.
The LRA has committed too much atrocity, so you don't need even to kill Con in order to get justice. Justice will be if Con can tell us where our children have been killed, so that we can go and gather the bones and have decent burial. If Con can tell us that he is responsible for abduction and for the enslavement of our girls as sex slaves. This can only be actually achieved through cultural justice system of Marupu.
The English said it is win-win or lose-lose. So at the end of the day, nobody goes unsatisfied. And then at the end of the day, there is no revenge. So we feel that in a Juman district, for peace to prevail, we must deal with traditional mechanism justice. In Madi, we call it Tolu Koka.
Now, the way the Amnesty Act has been reviewed, to me, it is going to remove the African heart of reconciliation and forgiveness. During the time, the brief period of the amnesty being in place, people got confidence in the government. That's why the peace is prevailing. But now if it is reviewed, whereby people will be incriminated, I think people will lose confidence in the government. And people are going to lose this peace, the small peace we are enjoying.
The formal justice system that we have been insisting on, or that we have been practicing, is insufficient to address most of the conflicts that happen in our communities. Most of the communities prefer traditional justice mechanisms to resolve their conflicts, some of which we most times try to resolve through the formal justice mechanisms. And I think it is going to be very important for us to factor in the important role played by traditional justice in the whole conflict resolution process in the country.
We find that it's not only northern Uganda that has been affected. So for us to only look at specific regions because they've been affected by war might be short-sighted, because in the end we are looking for a national solution, and for us to get a national solution we need to get the views of all stakeholders in the country. Yeah, that's why we intend to develop a national transitional justice policy.
Of course, transitional justice is essentially how each country and with its own context will choose a path of how they feel they can provide accountability for serious violations for the victims, especially at the cornerstone of everything is the victims of these violations. Do they feel a sense of justice in whatever is being achieved? I think Uganda is on track in as far as moving forward with dealing with issues of international crimes are concerned. All that is required is for the government to demonstrate enough political will to support these processes to its very logical conclusion.